When did you stop believing in yourself? Not all at once. It probably happened so slowly you didn't even notice. One day you just looked at your life and realized the certainty you used to carry wasn't there anymore. Because I remember being younger and feeling like anything was possible. Not in a naive way, just in a way where the future felt open, where trying something new didn't feel so scary, where failing at something didn't feel like proof of anything. It just felt like trying. And then somewhere along the way, something shifted. The world got louder. Other people's opinions got heavier. The gap between where we are and where we thought we'd be started to feel like evidence of something we didn't want to name. If this feels familiar, I want you to know something. Losing confidence as you get older is not a character flaw. It is not proof that you were wrong about yourself back then. It is actually a very human, very understandable response to a world that has been giving you a lot of feedback. Some of it useful, some of it not. And your brain, trying its best to protect you, started holding back a little more each time something hurt. There is something called learned helplessness, a concept developed by psychologist Martin Seligman. In his research, he found that when people experience repeated situations where their efforts don't seem to change the outcome, they eventually stop trying. Even when the situation changes and success becomes possible, they have already learned to expect failure, so they don't reach for it. And I think many of us carry a version of this, not because we gave up, but because we tried and it didn't work. And we tried again and it still didn't work. And at some point, the trying started to feel pointless. So we quietly lowered our expectations. We told ourselves we were being realistic. We called it growing up. But there is a difference between wisdom and self-abandonment. And I think sometimes what we call being realistic is actually just being afraid. Here's something that Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, found in her decades of research on mindset. People who believe that their abilities can grow and develop through effort, what she calls a growth mindset, are significantly more likely to persevere through challenges, take on difficult tasks, and ultimately achieve more than people who believe their abilities are fixed. Not because the growth mindset people are more talented, but because they haven't decided yet that the story is over. A fixed mindset says, I tried and I failed, which means I'm not good enough. A growth mindset says, I tried and I failed, which means I haven't figured it out yet. Same experience, completely different story. And here's the thing about the story we tell ourselves. We often don't even notice we're telling it. It just runs quietly in the background, like an app we never closed. I'm not the kind of person who I've never been good at. That's just not for someone like me. These thoughts feel like facts, but they are not facts. They are just very old, very practiced stories. So how do you start to change them? The first thing, and this might sound simple, but it is genuinely hard, is to notice. Just notice when the voice shows up. Not to argue with it, not to fight it or prove it wrong. Just to see it. Oh, there's that thought again. The one that says, I'm not enough. And then gently come back to what you were doing. Because what you resist persists. But what you observe with curiosity tends to lose its power over time. The second thing is to collect evidence. Your brain is very good at collecting evidence for the things it already believes. If it believes you always fail, it will find every failure and hold onto it tightly. So you have to consciously, deliberately, almost stubbornly, start collecting evidence for the other story. The times you figured something out, the times you showed up even when it was hard, the times someone told you that something you did mattered to them. Write them down if you have to. Your brain needs new material to work with. The third thing is to get comfortable with being a beginner again. One of the reasons confidence erodes as we get older is that we become more aware of how much we don't know. When we were children, we didn't know enough to be embarrassed about not knowing. We just tried things. We fell off the bike and got back on without a long internal debate about whether we were bike people. But as adults, we have a lot more to protect. Our reputation, our image, our carefully constructed idea of who we are. And so we stop trying things where we might look foolish. We stick to what we already know we're good at. And slowly the world gets smaller. Brené Brown, a researcher who has spent years studying vulnerability and courage, says that you cannot get to courage without going through vulnerability first. The willingness to show up when you can't control the outcome. The willingness to try something even when you might fail in front of other people. That is not recklessness. That is actually one of the bravest things a person can do. There's a book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest that I think about often when I feel stuck waiting to be ready. The idea, in her own words, is that progress matters more than perfection. That getting something done, even imperfectly, gives you something real to refine and build on. But staying stuck waiting for the perfect version before you even begin means you never actually start. And I think that's exactly what confidence is. It's not waiting until you feel ready. It's starting before you do, and letting the doing teach you what readiness actually feels like. Stop waiting until you feel confident to start. Because confidence is not something that arrives before the action. It is something that grows because of it. Every time you do the thing you were afraid to do, even imperfectly, even badly, even while shaking a little bit, you send a message to yourself. You say, I can do hard things. And your brain slowly starts to believe you. The version of you that felt like anything was possible. She didn't have more talent than you do now. She didn't have more certainty. She just hadn't been told no enough times to stop trying yet. You can find your way back to her, not by going back in time, but by deciding one small, brave act at a time that the story isn't over. Because it isn't, not even close.